Hi everyone, Pam here from Creative Homescaping. Today I'm going to be attempting to make a wreath using this wire wreath form from the Dollar Tree and some ribbon. These are all Costco ribbons, and I have 4 of them coiled up here, 10 yards of each, and I have a plain white one, I have this sheer sparkly gold one, I have this black houndstooth one, and I have this polka dot black and white one. And I have decided to use those colors along with some little strips of red, plush velveteen type ribbon that's not wired to make the wreath. And the reason I'm doing that is that in my dining room, my curtains that I have hanging in there are gold and red. And I thought having the gold and red and black and white for my fall decor would match the dining room and be a little bit different for early fall, specifically in September. I don't want it to be too pumpkin-y in there because I want to make a change in my tablescape for October for Halloween, and then another change for November for Thanksgiving time. So this is going to be my early fall wreath, and I may have some other ones for later on, but I already do have some made up for more like harvest type wreaths and Halloween wreaths. So I'll show you those in another video. So I'm going to attempt to do this. I've never made this kind of wreath before, and I hope you'll stay tuned and see how it turns out. Okay, so I am going to use 5 zip ties for each of the 6 sections in the wreath. And what I'm going to do, I have this clipped over here, my ribbon. I'm going to unroll it a little bit so that I can get my ends even. When I started out with even ends, but as you roll it up, they become a little more uneven because the ribbons are inside each other. Okay, I have them all turned the right way now. And I'm going to take this zip tie and I'm going to insert it under the second ring from the inside. So not this first one, but this second one. And then I'm going to put my ends in here of the ribbon. And this is going to be my starting point for the wreath. And this one I'm going to tighten down most of the way so that it will hold them in place. But the rest I'm going to just put on loosely. I'm going to go ahead and snip this one. Pretty close to the end. I don't know if you can see, I've got about a quarter to a half of an inch there. Then what I'm going to do is take my right hand, put it inside of the ribbon, and just use that as a guide for how big to make the loops. With my fingers spread a little bit apart. And then I'm going to take another zip tie, feed that under the second ring, and tighten that down. But I'm going to leave it a little bit loose so it can slide. I'm going to continue that till I have 5 loops in this section of the ring. And then I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to speed things up right here. Okay, so now you can see I have all of my 5 wreaths here, 5 loops here, and I've left the zip ties long so that I can tighten them if I need to, but I've left them a little bit loose so I can move things around and adjust them as I need them. And you may have seen that I cut one off because I had put it into the inner loop here rather than actually putting it on the second ring of the wreath form. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing in the other 5 sections of the wreath, and when I'm done with that, I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so now as you can see, I have loops all around the wreath form, and this is the end, and I've actually put a length of it in my left hand, or you could do it with your right hand, doesn't really matter which hand, but I am going to just eyeball what I think would make a nice length for tails for the wreath, and then I'm going to take one more zip tie and zip tie that large loop up at the top here, and then I will cut these at an angle so they make a nice ribbon end on the wreath. So, and I've also twisted it so that the right sides will be facing forward as I do that. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to cut the ribbon here. And then, like I said, I'm going to cut this at an angle. So I'll get it about even, and then I will just cut it at an angle. And that makes tails for my wreath. And I'm pretty happy with how it looks right here, so I am going to go ahead and tighten these up the rest of the way, and then I'm going to snip the tails off, and I'll show you the last step I'm going to do before I start fluffing all the ribbon. Now what I'm going to do is put one of these strips of red ribbon as accent, and I'm going to zip tie it onto this cross piece between the 2 middle rings of the wreath. So you have 4 rings on the wreath, and I'm going to put it on the cross piece between the 2 middle rings. I've already chevroned the ends, as you can see, and I've cut these, I don't know, they're about 1 foot long. I had a little bit of this ribbon left, and I just cut it into 6 equal pieces. I didn't really measure it. I may end up trimming these depending on how they look when I have the wreath all finished. If they're too long, then I will trim them down. And this part's a little tricky, getting it around the cross piece. But make sure to put it, if it's one-sided ribbon, make sure to put the right side of the ribbon facing upwards. Tighten this all the way and trim it. And I can already tell they're going to be a little long, so but I'll show you before I trim anything down so you can see how it looks once I've finished all of them. Okay, as you can see, the red ribbons are now evenly spaced along the wreath form, and that's the reason I tied them to the cross pieces, because I didn't have enough to use the red ribbon as one of the ribbons for the loops. Although I do have quite a bit of that ribbon left over. I didn't need nearly 10 yards. I could have done with a lot less. but I definitely will be using this ribbon for other things. Anyway, so by tying them to the cross pieces, it spreads them evenly and they won't move around. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take the ribbon here and I am going to start spreading it out, and I'm going to work outside to inside, so I'm pulling them opposite directions. And then for the next one, I'm going to do inside to outside so that the polka dotted ribbon doesn't end up in the same spot every time. So this time I'm going to pull the inside loop to my left and the topmost ribbon, the polka dot, to my right, and then spread them apart again, like that, see? And now I'll reverse it again. Polka dot to the left, white to the right, and then spread the inner two apart, like, actually these have to go like this. Okay, so then I'm going to continue to do that around the entire wreath. As you can see, this is making it nice and fluffy and covering up all of the 4 loops of the wreath form. Okay, so here is my finished wreath. You can see I have fluffed up all of the ribbons. I may do a little more poofing to make them a little bit rounder in some spots once I have it up on the wall where I want to put it. You can see the tails down there. So let me know what you think. I think this would work well for my fall decor, but I also think it could work for Christmas and even New Year's or Valentine's Day, because the little pops of red against the black and white and the gold are pretty festive for all of those occasions. So I have some other items I'm going to be using this with, including the napkin rings I made in a prior challenge, which I will link above and below in case you haven't seen those. And then once I have my room all decorated up for my September tablescape and early fall decor, I will show you how it all comes together. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, please give me a thumbs up so I know you did. If you're new to my channel, I post several videos a week on how to creatively manage and decorate your home. So I hope you'll subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button down below, and if you want to be notified when I post new videos, you can also hit the notification bell. Once again, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you who have watched my videos and who've signed up to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time as I continue my fall decorating. Take care.